Hey guys, happy Friday. Happy to be here. Took me a long time to come up with this video because it's actually one that wasn't easy for me to put together. Only because it's a sensitive subject, I guess, or controversial. But I had to do it because this is what God told me to do, because I always pray after I make one of my videos, I pray for the next one. So by the time I wait to hear what he tells me, and when he told me this one, I'm like, whoa, God. It was like, are you for real? But I have to do it even though I really don't want to. But we have to understand that, I have my Bible today. This is the Bible, This is the book that that has everything we need to know of what to do, how to do it. It's used for prayers to fight against whatever you're fighting for. So we can't treat this as a recipe book and choose what we want to use and forget the rest. Every word in here is the truth. So just because you hear something that you don't like, you can't choose not to say that, oh, that's not true. Because it is true, because it's written in the Bible. And we have to all understand that we have to take every single word on here seriously, because it's God's word. And if you haven't taken the time to read the Bible, I suggest you do, so you can understand. Do your own research. Don't take just my video. I did my own research once I was told to do this, and pretty much everybody says the same thing. But when I hear something, I always do more research if I feel like if I need to learn more, because sometimes we hear these things and we don't want to hear it. And just a little intro on this, today I'm going to be talking about astrology, horoscopes, tarot card readings, evil eye bracelets, the hamster hand, all those things that, I was part of. I used to go read my cards. I used to wear those evil bracelets back in the day because that's what I grew up knowing, And even when I was told about this, because my boyfriend was the one that actually told me about this years ago, and when he told me that, I'm like, yeah, right, whatever. Like, I didn't want to believe him, but something inside was telling me it's true. So, it just always stuck with me until I slowly started seeing why it was true and why we shouldn't do those things. It made a lot of sense. And even prior to him telling me this, I was already like the last person I went to go read my cards with, she goes and tells me, oh, and she was asking me questions versus telling me, when you go see these people, you want them to tell you things that you don't know of, but they're always asking you questions, and we're like so eager to hear something that we don't even realize that sometimes that these people are just taking that information we're giving them and using it back to act like they're telling us things, because at the end of the day, they're not. Most of the time, all the time. I'm not even going to say most of the time, all the time. Those people are not who you should be listening to. I know we don't want to hear it because, like me, I never used it for bad. So I used to always wonder, why would people say this is from the devil? I never understood it, because that's how the devil is. He wants to deceive us. He wants to deceive us to think one way. Because why? His mission is to pull as many people away from God and his word and his rules, his laws. You understand? So of course he's going to paint it like everything's okay to trick us. He is not our friend. He does not have our best interest he doesn't care about us at all. He wants to doom us for life. God is promising us eternal life, and the devil is trying to remove that from us. Why? A little side note for people who may not know, the devil's a fallen angel, and he thinks that he could do it better than God. So this is where the good and bad started from. You understand? So we have to keep in mind, we cannot use this Bible as a recipe book. You use a recipe book, you normally don't cook all that stuff in that recipe book. You just look to see what you want to cook and you choose that. We can't treat this book like that. We have to listen to every word that's on here. Okay? And with that said, I'm going to start with Ezekiel chapter 13, verse 20. And it goes like this, and I'm reading from this is the NIV Version Study Bible that a wonderful person gifted to me that I'm so grateful for. All right, so here it goes. Ezekiel chapter 13, verse 20. Therefore, this is what the sovereign Lord says. I am against your magic charms with which you ensnare people like birds, and I will tear them from your arms. I will set free the people that you ensnare like birds. I will tear off your veils and save my people from your hands, and they will no longer fall prey to your power. Then you will know that I am the Lord, because you disheartened the righteousness with your lies, when I have brought them no grief, and because you encouraged the wicked not to turn from their evil ways and so save their lives. Therefore you will no longer see false visions or practice divination. I will save my people from your hands, and then you will know that I am the Lord. Okay? I'm going to read, this is a study Bible, so I'm going to read what it explains here. And it says, for this chapter that I just read, it says, these magic charms and veils were used in practicing witchcraft. They were advertised as good luck charms, but they were used to ensnare the people in idolatry. Killing some and sparing others means falsely telling people what their futures would hold. Only God can know what will happen in the future. Today, fortune-telling, horoscopes, Ouija boards, and tarot cards open the door wide for Satan to influence and possess a person with false prophecies about the future. These things may appear innocent at first, but they're only enticing deceptions. Okay? We have to really take these things seriously, and I'm one that I don't like to make anyone feel bad. So this is why this video was kind of not something I wanted to run and do, because I know some people that do these things, you know. And I'm not judging anyone. I am not condemning anyone. Let's make that clear. I am not judging anyone, okay? I have to do my part by sharing the things that I didn't know. Somebody told me these things were from God. And even though I didn't believe them at first or wanted to believe them, I still ended up finding out the truth. God did the rest. They told me, they planted the seed, and God watered the rest. And he showed me, you know, these evil bracelets. Let's start there. It's called evil. The evil eye bracelet, right? It's called evil. So I have this thing that I won't buy nothing that has the word evil in it, wicked or devil, like any of those words. If I see it in any products, food, or anything like that, I'm not gonna take it, because I'm like, where in your right mind would you want to name something like that, you know? And I will not do it. I will not buy it. And the evil eye bracelet, why would you think that's helping you when it's called the evil eye? We have to start understanding things, you know. Sometimes things are just plain in sight. We are in God's world. God created this whole world, these trees, the sky, everything in it God created. Why do you think he's gonna need these little charms to do work? Why would you think our powerful God would need something like that? He doesn't. This is the devil trying to trick us. Why? Because what are we doing with that evil eye bracelet? We're really attracting those negative spirits. You understand? And I know it might seem innocent. Maybe things are not happening to you clearly as bad, but you may be suffering from, I don't know, certain things, you know? Like some people draw close to the drinking. Like they just somehow just end up like, little by little, you start changing a little bit, you know? Or you're not feeling calm, or you're just like all over the place maybe, or I don't know. It's just not good to do, okay? And I just want everybody to know this, because I want everybody to make it to heaven. God is promising us eternal life. Who wouldn't want that? Eternal life. And if you hear how they explain the Bible, it's beautiful, and that's not even half of it what we're probably gonna expect. We're going to God's kingdom, and we're gonna live there forever, eternal life. No sadness, no pain, no bad health, nothing. We're gonna be truly living there like royalty with our God, and we have to work our best in on this earth to complete our task here. You know, our mission here is not just to find a good job and buy a house and get all the money in the world. No. Even though those things, yeah, you could get them. But God has to be in the center of it all. You have to do his job first. If you're working somewhere that's removing you from God and taking time away from him, then maybe that's not the job for you. If you feel stressed and always under pressure, then that's not the job for you. We have to learn to start praying to God more and asking him and sitting there to learn his voice and hear him when we speak to him, because he does answer us. It took me a while and I'm still working on it, but lately now I've been hearing his voice clear, you know. So, you know, that's where I'm going to probably read a lot of verses here, because like I said, these are things that people don't want to hear. And I just want to give facts about it, because the Bible is a fact, you know. And this includes angel numbers. Like, if a lot of people have that thing too, and they see like angel numbers like 111 or like 333, right away they think that's their angels talking to them. No. No. We have monitoring spirits which are around us, watching us, what we're doing, to trick us. So they'll see we're going through something, and they'll like, oh, give you a sign, so you could think that it's from God when it's not. They're just setting you up to go down the wrong road. Oh, it's 111, or I don't know. You start thinking about an ex-boyfriend you shouldn't be with because you see a sign of numbers. No, God doesn't use that. You know. And the next verse that I wrote here was Exodus 20, verse 1 and 6. So we're going to go there. And that verse says, this is part of the Ten Commandments. And God spoke all these words. I am the Lord your God, who brought you out of Egypt, out of the land of slavery. You shall have no other gods before me. You shall not make for yourself an image in the form of anything in heaven above, or on the earth beneath, or in the waters below. You shall not bow down to them or worship them. For I, the Lord your God, am a jealous God, punishing the children for the sin of the parents to the third and fourth generation of those who hate me, but showing love to 1,000 generations of those who love me and keep my commandments. You shall not misuse the name of the Lord your God, for the Lord will not hold anyone guiltless who misuses his name. Now this one explains it for that verse. It says, because this is when Moses took the Israelites out of Egypt. The Israelites had just come from Egypt, a land of many idols and many gods, because each god represented a different aspect of life. It was common to worship many gods in order to get the maximum number of blessings. When God told his people to worship and believe in him, that wasn't so hard for them. He was just one more god to add to the list. But when he said, you shall have no other gods before me, that was difficult for people to accept. But if they didn't learn that the God who had led them out of Egypt was the only true God, they could not be his people, no matter how faithfully they kept the other 9 commandments. Thus, God made this his first commandment. Today, we can allow many things to become gods to us. Relationships, money, affirmation, work, and pleasure can become gods when we concentrate too much on them for personal identity, meaning, and security. No one sets out with intentions of worshiping these things, but by the amount of time we devote to them, we can allow them to go into gods that ultimately control our thoughts and energies. Letting God hold a central place in our lives keep these things from turning into gods. So we could easily turn our phone into an idol, into a god. Why? Because we're focusing all our time on the phone, when really the most time that we spend in the day should be spent with God. Anything could become a god. Money. A lot of people just wake up to make more money, with no intentions of, using it for God or being happy with what God gives them. And like these bracelets that I tell you, that becomes a God because you're putting your faith in that. You're like, oh, this thing is gonna help me. This thing is gonna protect me. No, God is gonna do all that protection for you. Our God doesn't need anything or any piece of jewelry to protect you. He is the Almighty. He is everywhere at the same time in the whole world. You think he's present around everyone right now in the whole world at the same time. You think you think he's gonna need help? No. He didn't need help creating this world. Like, think about it. He created this whole world. Have you guys ever took the time and just looked up at the sky? Like, I like to look up at the sky when the clouds are out. I really enjoy that, you know. Where I used to work before, I used to go outside and I was a smoker. And I used to work till 7 p.m. so the sun used to set before I would leave at a certain time of the year. And I would love seeing the sunset. And I was like, wow, God created this. You know, God is not gonna steer us wrong. We have to understand these things are all just deceiving us to trick us. There's a battle going on here between people going to God or people going to the enemy. Which side do you want to be on? And even though if you don't believe me or want to hear this right now, do your research, you know. The next time you plan on getting your cards read, which I hope you don't after this video, I want you to listen to them and really think about, is these people really helping me? Because I remember when I used to always go read my cards, the next thing they want you to buy something. Then the next thing they want you to take a bath. You know, they're creating these baths to help you get better. What are they doing? Just taking your money to help you. But yet we have a God who does it for free. And if you stay focused on him, he's going to do it for you. Bottom line, point blank, period. And then I have written here Exodus 27, which is the same. So it says, you shall not misuse the name of the Lord your God, for the Lord will not hold anyone guiltless who misuses his name. And this is explained as God's name is special because it carries his personal identity. Using it in a curse is so common today that we may fail to realize how serious it is. The way we use God's name conveys how we really feel about him. We should respect his name and use it appropriately, speaking it in praise or worship rather than in a curse or jest. We should not take lightly the abuse or dishonor of God's name. We shouldn't use God's name in vain. We shouldn't be cursing before using God's name. You understand? I'm not going to sit here and give examples. You know. Ask God to give you, conviction when you do certain things. Ask God to show you what are the things that you're doing wrong. And you're going to start feeling bad. When you start doing them, you're going to start feeling bad. Ask God. Pray to God. Please show me the things that I'm doing that is not of you. That is not from you. And he'll show you. You know? Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about is astrology, horoscopes. I was big on this too. I used to always get the newspaper back in the day, I remember, the Jersey Journal, and go straight to the horoscope side to see what's going on for me that day. And I would use it to identify how a person would be or what to expect from them, or if they were compatible for me, you know. And that's also something not from God. It's there to trick us. You understand? We're focusing, I think that focuses on the moon or the stars. It goes by where the sun was set or the stars or something like that when you were born, and it could identify who you are as a person, your character. No, those things are not true either. When people ask you what's your sign, don't say, I'm sorry, I thought I spelled something. Don't say what you are used to. One of my friends that I follow on social media, she used to be heavy with her horoscope, right? With her sign. And she said that one time she came up and she said, somebody asked her what her sign was, and she said the cross. And I'm like, oh man, that's a good one. So that's what I'm going to tell you guys to do. Stop identifying yourself as a certain sign, because you're just calling stuff to you. We don't see a lot of things that's happening around us, and it's a lot happening that we don't see. There's a lot happening. And our mouth holds power, our tongue. So we say these things about ourselves. Oh, I'm this, so I have this character about me, you know? Or, you know, I don't even want to say it, but you know what I mean. Like, you go by a certain month, like, you already know the astrology, the signs, like Gemini, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Leo, blah, 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 blah. We can't call those things upon us because not everybody's the same, you know? And the verse to go with that is Isaiah chapter 47, verses 13 through 15. And it says, all the counsel you have received has only worn you out. Let your astrologers come forward, those stargazers who made predictions month by month. Let them save you from what is coming upon you. Surely they are like stubble. The fire will burn them up. They cannot even save themselves from the power of the flame. These are not coals from warmth. This is not a fire to sit by. This is all they are to you. These you have dealt with and labored with since childhood. All of them go on their error. There is not one that can save you. And the way the Bible breaks this one down is right here. The people of Babylon sought advice and help from astrologers. But like the idols of wood or gold, astrologers could not even deliver themselves from what was to come from the hand of God. Why rely on those who are powerless? The helpless cannot help us. Alternatives to God are destined to fail. If you want help, find it in God, who has proven his power in creation and his history. Many centuries after Isaiah, when Jesus was born, astrologers from the same region will follow a star to find Jesus. This is Matthew. And little did they realize that they would find God. You know, idolatry is another thing that we got to be careful for. We could sit here and make anything idolatry, you know, something that we're praising or loving more than God, pretty much, and putting it before him. And you know, the next thing I'm gonna say is those go for like the statues you might buy. You know, those statues that you find in the stores of Jesus, the Virgin Mary, things like that, of the saints. Those things we're not supposed to have in our house. We're not supposed to worship them. We're not supposed to even kneel down to them, because we're supposed to only kneel down to God. He says it. He doesn't want nobody kneeling down to anyone, praising anyone. He is the only true God. When Moses took the Israelites out of Egypt, he had went up to the mountain, Mount Sinai, God called him up there to write down these 10 commandments, but Moses took a long time up on there on that hill, I think like 40 days or something like that. And they thought that he just died. They were like, oh, he's not coming back. So the people were so used to having gods that they didn't want to accept that they only could worship one God, you know. They were used to always worshiping different gods. So they eventually convinced his brother Aaron to carve I think it was a cow. They melted their gold and they carved a cow or a calf or something like that. And they started worshiping. Whoa, what was that for? Moses came back down all happy because he has the 10 commandments. And he sees this happening. If I remember the story correctly, he got upset and he broke that thing and, you know, told them some stuff, you know. And he broke it down to dust, to sand, to everything. I think he threw it in the water. I'm not too sure, but go read that book, that story of Moses. And there's also a Netflix special too about Moses, the Testimony of Moses, I think it's called. I'll leave it listed down below in my comments. That was really a good series. I like to watch visual things so I can understand things a little better, you know. I haven't read the Bible all yet. Right now I do Bible reading in the morning and we're doing it from the beginning. Right now we're in Ezekiel, the book of Ezekiel. But anyway, I got sidetracked. Another verse for you is the Deuteronomy chapter 4 verses 15 through 19. And it says, idolatry forbidden. You saw no form of any kind the day the Lord spoke to you at Horeb, out of the fire. Therefore watch yourself very carefully, so that you don't become corrupt and make yourself an idol, an image of any shape, whether formed like a man or a woman, or like any animal on earth, or any bird that flies in the air, or like any creature that moves along the ground, or any fish in waters below. And when you look up in the sky and see the sun, the moons, and the stars, all the heavily arrayed, do not be enticed into bowing down to them and worshiping things the Lord your God has apportioned to all the nations under heaven. So it tells us right here that we shouldn't do those things. We shouldn't have any statues. We shouldn't have anything that we're worshiping. And this could be in statues. This could be in crystals. A lot of people have crystals. It could be anything. Anything that you idolize, you should get rid of. If you have any of these things, just always pray to God. Don't ever take somebody's word, my word, and run with it. Take it, pray to God. Is this true, God? Show me other things. Show me things that I'm idolizing that I shouldn't. And get rid of those things. Okay? Our phone could turn into something we idolize. It could be a rabbit hole, and it's happened to me. I'll stay on my phone and forget about it. Especially when the kids go to sleep, because that's the only time I get to myself. But we can't do that. We have to spend time with God. Like, rather than being stuck on this phone, imagine all the time we spent on this phone, how far we would get in the Bible. We used that time to read the Bible. Far. I probably would have read the Bible like 2-3 times already, front and back. And I have to work on that too. You know, to not get stuck on social media and things like that. Even if I'm doing this stuff on YouTube, I gotta learn to not be all up in my phone all night, you know? Because I'll stay up all night. Because, like I said, it's the only time I have it to myself. So before you know it's late. And then in the morning I wake up at like 5:45. Well, I try to. Or before 6 a.m. to get on this Bible reading at 6 via Zoom, and I'm tired. Lately, I've been falling asleep earlier than usual, but, you know, we have to, not part of the story, but at the end of the day, we shouldn't trust anything or anything to protect us, to keep anything away from us. These physical things are not of God. You understand? You have to really, you have to put your whole trust in God. You can't go doing these things of looking into the future or finding things out or burning this candle for this or taking this bath for that, because all you're doing is telling God, I don't trust you, I want to do things my way. Or, you know, most of the times I used to go get my cars read was because of an ex-relationship I was in, and I didn't want to let go of that relationship. And I'm over here spending my money, getting my cars read, doing this, doing that. Did he ever come back? No, never. You know, and I spent a lot of money doing that. I wasted my time. Why? Because it wasn't part of God's will. And I ended up meeting a man that, God willing, would turn into my husband, who gave me 2 beautiful children. And I was so stuck on this other guy, forcing God to do it my way instead of his way. And he was like, nah, girl, I got someone better for you. You know? We have our ups and downs, but he's amazing. He's put me on a road that led me to God, and I will be forever grateful. On top of giving me my 2 awesome kids, you know what I mean? Like, let's trust God. Let's trust him. All these things are not good. And I tell you right now, if you're one of these people that do this and you have certain things that you might be like, oh, I look for this for protection, like the Buddha. A lot of people have the Buddhas at home. And like, I think he's for money or something like that. No, we shouldn't do those things. Now, if you have these things as decor and you're not worshiping it at all or expecting it to do nothing, that's a different story. Like the crystals, if you have it there for just decor, fine. But if you're really keeping it there for something like, oh, that brings me luck or whatever those crystals do, because I don't have no idea, then get rid of them. Pray to God to show you what are the things that you need to stop doing. Somebody asks you what your sign is, don't identify yourself as those signs anymore. If you're a follower of Christ on your journey, I'm going to start saying, oh, my sign is the cross. Because that's where Jesus died for us, you know. There's a lot of verses here I wrote down. I'll leave them down below because I'm not going to read through it. I put it down because, like I said, this was a hard video for me to do. And when God told me to do it, I just felt him tugging on my heart to do it that I even cried a little bit. Like, no, I don't want to do this, God, please. But I had to be obedient and get it done. And I hope this helps some people. And there's a lot of people you could go online and even hear what they have to say too. One of the people I went on YouTube to get more information, which on YouTube was Lala Jenkins, Lala Jenkins, her YouTube channel, and also a podcast that was shared to me by my niece, Heavenly Bond Pod. They spoke about this pretty good too. There's many places you could check for this stuff, you know. Just pray to God to give you discernment and to show you what are the things that are not from Him. This devil has to stop. You know, you have to stop letting him get into your head and confusing you. God is not about confusion. He's not about fear. He's not about anything like that. God brings you love. God brings you peace. God brings you hope. Even if you're going through something, God brings you calmness. If you focus on God, He will be there and He will keep you still. You know, this is not something that's going to be done overnight, because I sometimes have my moments where I get anxious and things like that, but I'm working on it. I'm trying to change, you know. Even with the horoscopes, that's something I've done my whole life, and it's not so recently that I learned about that, and I'm trying to change my mind from that, you know. Which I have to start. You know, the next person that asks me that, I'm gonna hope I better say the cross, you know, and practice what I'm pretty much telling you guys to do. This is the right thing to do. Just remember, our agenda is to get to heaven. Period, man. And I'm telling you, ever since I started my journey, with God, my life gotten better. I'm still going through things, but it's better, you know. It's better. It's allowing me to get out the house and do these videos for God, for all of you that are actually watching them. And I hope it's helping you guys. And if you guys ever have questions, please leave them in the comments section or find me on social media under Loving God Boutique. I'm on TikTok and Instagram. I have my Facebook page also. Or email me. I have an email for you guys to use also that I'll leave down below. Alright? And I always leave a recommendation of some sort. I don't think I have any this week. I think God put this on my mind and I wasn't even listening to music, you know. I was really like focusing on this, but I'll think about it. If I have a song recommendation, I'll leave it down below, right? Please enjoy your day. Please be nice to everyone, even if they're not nice to you, be kind. We have to show that we are part of Jesus' group and show them what Jesus is. Jesus is all about love. Jesus doesn't want us judging anyone. If we have to bring something to someone's attention, then do it kindly. Be kind to everyone. Even those people in the streets are probably homeless. Don't be rude to anyone. And if you tend to be that way and you catch yourself, you be like, you know, just ask God to forgive you, but try to be better, right? Have a beautiful weekend. I can't wait to make my next video. And I hope you guys are enjoying my channel. I appreciate every single one of you, all right? God bless you. I love you. See you next time. Bye.